Hey guys, Shy Cubs fan 14 or John here, and I want to talk to you guys today about the Time article that came out last week, more specifically the cover of the Time magazine, which depicted a 26-year-old California mom breastfeeding her 3-year-old son while he was standing on a chair. It received a lot of controversy. There was a lot of discussion that was brought up. The pros and the cons were brought up. This is a type of parenting that is taught by a doctor named Dr. Sears. It's called attachment parenting, where women breastfeed their children beyond 12 or 24 months. That is probably most common seen amongst people. What's funny is a lot of people came out and said that it's pornographic, that it's not morally correct. And then you have the other people that are saying it's natural. This is how children are fed. This is how they get their nutrition. There's nothing wrong with it. And I found the whole topic quite interesting. Myself personally, I was breastfed. My children have been breastfed. I think that it's a very natural thing. If you looked at the article, which came out on Friday, I believe, it also depicts other mothers who are breastfeeding their children well into their 3 and 4 years of age. And obviously there was some artistic interpretation that went into those photo shoots. The mothers obviously don't feed their children while they're standing on chairs. I'm sure that they cuddle them and nurture them. But this attachment parenting is where the kids sleep with the parents, where they are carried around, where they bond with the parents. And the people who believe in this believe in it very strongly. And it just brings to a focal point the phobia that Americans have about breasts. I find it quite interesting. We have been breastfeeding since we have evolved into what we are. It's as natural as the day is long. That is how a child is fed. And while we as a society have grown and our medical knowledge has grown, there are ways that we supplement breast milk, and a lot of people choose not to breastfeed. But I don't think that we should get down on people who do that. But it's very interesting that you look at this group of people who look at the breasts not as something that is prized, not as something that is revered. It's a natural part of the body that has a function to be done. But in our society, it's funny, we do revere the breasts. We as males hold it in very high esteem. I know that I hold breasts in very high esteem. And while I was looking at this article about the Time cover with this woman breastfeeding her son, that same day, what was interesting is I also found an article about an 18-year-old girl who had just graduated from high school. And for her graduation present, her parents were giving her a breast augmentation. They interviewed the doctor who was going to do the surgery, and he explained that it wasn't really an enhancement, or it wasn't something that was cosmetic in nature. He tried to explain that because she was a AA cup, this was almost reconstructed. That because she was so flat-chested, her chest was almost inverted, that they were going to take her out to a 34C, so it would be reconstructive surgery. He also alluded to the fact that it would probably give her some self-confidence. When they interviewed the young lady, she was thrilled about the fact that she was going to have this done. She commented on how, while her classmates didn't really ridicule her, she always felt self-conscious and uncomfortable in the locker room and in front of other people. But did admit that she thought after the surgery she'd have a lot more self-confidence and it would help her for her upcoming college years. But what I found really interesting is her mom and dad were interviewed, and her mother was very supportive. She alluded to the fact that the girl was 18, it was her body, she could do what she wanted with it. But when they interviewed the father, he made the correlation of it's no different than getting her a car. If it makes it feel good about herself, then you should do that. So I find it interesting that we talk about mothers who use their breasts to feed their children, and we kind of look at them as pariah, but on the same front, we look at people who have a body that God's given them, but they want to try to perfect it. And that leads to, we glorify or objectify the breasts of women. While they're on a woman's body to do a very specific job, which is to nurture children, which they're supposed to do, we've also brought them into this type of realm where the size, the shape, the texture, it's something that captivates our eye and draws our attention. And when I start thinking about it, you know, when you look at Hollywood, that's a perfect place where a lot of women have breast augmentations. They have fake breasts. But it's interesting, recently a lot of the beauties that have been photographed are staying with their own breasts. They're not getting breast augmentation. So you have several models, which I'm going to show you a couple pictures of, who are completely natural. Their breasts are the ones that they were born with. They're comfortable with how they look. They feel sexy with them. And then you have those women who get breast augmentation, such as Carmen Electra and Kim Kardashian and Pamela Anderson, whose sizes seem to continue to go up and up and up. But it kind of brings me to my question of the day for you guys. How do you feel about a woman breastfeeding past the age of 2 years for a child? Do you think it's something's wrong with it? Do you think it's pornographic? Do you think it's immoral? Do you think that it's just flat wrong? And what's your take? Real or fake boobies? I'd love to have your comments in the bottom. Let me know what you think. I appreciate you stopping by the channel. I know we haven't had one up in a couple days, but we've been working on a couple things. So hopefully everything's working out good. It's going smooth. Once again, thanks a lot for your continued support, and we'll have some new material up soon.